Kevin, call the roll, please.
Ms. Least?
Here.
Mrs. Sweet?
Here.
Mr. Bear?
Here.
Mr. Whitaker?
Here.
Mr. Avery?
Here.
Mr. Hannah?
Council does have a quorum. Please join me in pledging allegiance to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. This is the regular session of the Enon Village Council. This is Tuesday, June 25th, 2024. Any additions to our agenda this evening?
I'd like to excuse Mr. Hannah from the meeting this evening.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Kevin, call the roll, please.
Ms. Least?
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet?
Yes.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker?
Yes.
Mr. Avery?
Yes.
And Mrs. Sweet, you had an addition as well?
Yes, under committee reports, I have an addition there.
Okay. Are there any other additions to the agenda this evening? All right, seeing none. So our fiscal officer is on vacation this week, so we will have minutes and financial reports for our next meeting, so we can just approve both of those sets of minutes at the next meeting. Any items of communication? All right, we'll move into staff reports. And Kevin, I'll turn it over to you. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, residents. First item is an Eagle Scout update, flagpole project. Olivia Young did contact me, and first of all, we did get the 2 flagpoles delivered. They're laying against the building out there. So, but Olivia contacted me by email, kind of her schedule of what she's going to be doing. She's going to start digging on the 29th. July 1st, she's going to set the poles and the first concrete pour. July 5th, the gravel in the forms. July 8th, the second pour. July 11th, remove the forms and start to dig out for flower beds. July 12th, set the flag poles. July 13th, plant the flowers and then install the light. So she's very organized. So I'm proud of that.
Well, and that's part of the Eagle Scout process on that project. You have to plan it and then carry it out. So it sounds like she's off to a good start.
Yep, she's off a good start. She's told me she's got help to do all the digging. We just have to. I'm going to have a truck here so she can load the dirt on the dump truck and we can go dump it for her and stuff like that. So, and I did talk to Robert McClure about helping to get this flagpole out using one of their pieces of equipment. Don O'Connor came down and said that they did not think they could do that. So I'm going to get hold of McRae in Springfield there. They helped them with one of their flagpoles. So I'm going to call them tomorrow and see if we can't get them down here to get that flagpole removed. And then also set up a time when we need to set these other ones. So, so as of that, that's going pretty good in my opinion. So. Rebert Pike, I got a couple estimates on resurfacing Rebert Pike. There was some some inquiries about doing that by residents. So I thought I'd get a hold of Bob McClure once again and have him give me a couple estimates. If we would do it yet this year under the 24 asphalt bid price, the total would be $45,303. If we wait till next year, it's going to be $57,990, so approximately $12,000 difference, $12,500 difference. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I know I did. The mayor and I drove down there, and I know it's kind of getting bad, but that should be one of the ones that might be on our radar to do, whether we do it next year or whatever. But in my opinion, it wasn't as bad as like Countryside or some of the other ones, but it is, it gets traveled a lot naturally, so it does need some attention. So
I don't think we can swing that this year, Kevin, because we didn't plan on that. But as a reminder for the street committee for next year, let's have that on the list of streets for them to look at.
Sure. Wastewater line project's going really good. They got the pipe installed under the railroad tracks today and fused together on the north end. They are going to connect the south side of the tracks tomorrow morning, then naturally get it all backfilled. They did backfill the north side. They did install new pipe down to the river. We were not expecting that. We got investigating the existing pipe, and it was plugged up. So we did have them install new pipe clear down to the river, and that's going to be a change order of a total of $23,000. We didn't expect that much, kind of a surprise, but I guess, it had to be done. I did call Lewis from the Clark County just to kind of pick his brain a little bit, and he did mention that I would have to call Will from OPWC and ask if that change order can be processed under the current contract, current agreement. There'd be a possibility that it could, but if not, he said that I'd have to go to the executive committee at that executive committee meeting in September and ask for a project amendment. He said normally they don't like that, but since the example he given me is, okay, we got some money left over, let's pave another street. They really wouldn't approve that. But he said this is part of that project. It had to be done. Even though it was unexpected, he said there shouldn't be a problem with that. But it will be processed under the same current percentages as the current contract is. So nothing really changes.
So I think what would be good from the council would be a motion to approve that, just so we have it on the record. We had to do it. We had no choice. And then hope that, and I think the Ohio Public Works Commission, they've been pretty lenient on things like that in the past. I think they're going to help us out on it, but I think we need a motion from council just to cover that.
Just to reiterate the costs, the project bid came in at $275, and our project or OPWC request was $483. So Lewis was really surprised, at the bid, and the change order was $23,000. So we're at a project total of $298,000, a little over that.
Well under the engineer's estimate, right?
Correct. So I think everything's going to go well on that. So.
I'll make a motion that we accept the 23,000 increase on the change order.
I'll second.
And any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Lees,
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet,
Yes.
Mr. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Mr. Avery.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Just a reminder, office will be closed on July 4th. And in as well, let's see here. You have in front of you a purchase agreement for a 2022 John Deere compact utility tractor that we thought we're going to need out at the new park for mowing purposes, for pretty much anything out there. There in the purchase agreement, the tractor's $26,142, and then also on the back there's a 2024 rotary cutter, a lift type rotary cutter. Almost I call it a brush cutter, in the amount of $2,800. Rick's not here, and I'm sure he'd like to join in on the conversation on that, but him and I went out and looked at it. It's at Koenig Equipment in Tip City, or in Troy, excuse me. Is it Troy?
Tip City.
Tip
okay.
City, yes.
Yeah.
And it's practically brand new. I think it has like 15 hours on it or
Yeah,
something like
15
that. So
hours.
it's not hurt at all. It's great condition. I just want to throw my 2 cents in on the rotary cutter. I don't know how often we would use that other than in the beginning of this project to, cutting high stuff down. We may in the future, but it might behoove us to in my opinion, once again, to maybe just at those times just rent one. I know that in the future we're going to be mowing pretty much pretty much that whole thing. And in my opinion, a gang mower behind that, would work out better for us. At this point, I don't know how much a gang mower would cost, but a rental of these brush cutters, probably maybe $900 for a week. If you'd have it for a week, I don't know. That's just my guess. I mean, you can rent those, at Sunbelt, but that's my 2 cents.
I would tend to agree with that. I'm good with the tractor. The only thing I would say is, I think it would be better if we get it, start renting some like ancillary equipment, see what we would really use before purchasing something. And I know we don't really have a place right now to store the tractor, one, and then also the attachments. So
Yeah.
that's my
Yeah,
opinion on
I do
it.
want to add to this. This tractor does have a front bucket on it as well, so, which will come in real handy. But yeah, that's another issue that we're just going to have some discussion.
So Kevin, so I understand the 2847 for the rotary cut. You're saying we don't need.
In my opinion, I don't
And-
think
and that's
so.
fine. Okay.
I mean, we can rent one for no more than what I think we'd use it. Especially in the beginning, we'll use it naturally to get the high stuff down, to get the walk path formed and just stuff trimmed back. This type of cutter is not like a flail mower, like tips up and gets fence rows. We're going to
Right.
have to do that, and I think the township is going to help us out with that, or we can rent one of those too, and along with the township and get it done. Because we can put that on our mini excavator just like the township does. So there.
Okay.
I have one question. I was looking at the warranties, and it says for the tractor, 24 months or 2,000 hours, whichever comes first. How do you time out the hours?
There's a meter on them.
Yeah,
There's
it's
a
just
meter
that-
on it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what
Okay.
that 15 hours is on it currently.
Okay, so that's what, okay, I just know, thank you.
This tractor, the person who had it could not finish paying for it, so he got turned back into John Deere. So, and it's on the lot right now. So if it's approved, then we can just go pick it up on our trailer, and once we get a purchase order.
Your recommendation is to go with the 26,142.73 then.
That'd be my recommendation.
Okay.
What about the $10 manufacturer filing registration fee of $10 on there? I mean, is that for the tractor
I'm
or for the rotary cutter?
I don't have an answer to that. No, I do not know.
So I would say we just make a motion for the 26.
152?
Yeah, 152
Okay.
in case that $10. I'm assuming it goes with the tractor.
I
Okay.
would think so.
I'll move that we purchase the John Deere tractor from Koenig in the amount of 26,152.73.
I'll second.
And discussion, Kevin, how do you want that broken down fund-wise?
After talking to Jason, I'm thinking 60% ARPA funds and then 40% water.
Sounds reasonable.
It's, a little over, 18,000 ARPA, 11,000. Well, that was for the whole 29, but it's 60-40.
Okay. Any questions? Any other discussion? Okay, call the roll, please.
Ms. Least,
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet,
Yes,
Mr. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Mr. Avery.
Yes.
All right, thank you on that. There's a couple invoices there as well for Premier. This was for the 304 gravel for the parking lot in the park, which is completed, and the road as well. That's for 304 for the road as well. I don't know if anybody has drove back there and took a look and drove around. They did a really nice job. Really nice job. Let's see here.
So we
Do
will
need a
need-
motion for that? Okay.
Yep, we'll need a motion and a second to approve both of those invoices. The first one was for, let me get it right here. Looks like $14,499.63. The second one for $14,817.43.
I'll make a motion to approve both those invoices totaling $29,317.26 and I believe that would go to the ARPA fund.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Least,
Yes.
Ms. Sweet,
Yes.
Mr. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Mr. Avery.
Yes.
So how this part will work, we'll go ahead and pay for this 29,000, and then Rob is going to keep a total of everything. We'll go back to the township for their half, and they will send us at some point in time reimbursement for their 50%.
And the only other thing I have is just want to let council know that Enon Planning Commission scheduled a meeting for Tuesday, July 16th at 4 p.m. This is for John Vanderglass and Shelley Wiley, property owners of located at 106 North Xenia Street. And they want to combine the lots from 106 and 150 North Xenia Street.
That was 106 and what?
106 and 150. They want to combine it into one parcel. That's where the Enon Brewery,
Where the hole is in the ground.
the hole
Yeah,
is in
where
the
the
ground.
hole's there. Yep.
So, from what I hear, it's going to be, they're combining those and going to fix it up really nice, clean it up, and got some good plans coming, so stay tuned. I think that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, questions for our administrator? Thanks, Kevin. Chief, I'll turn it over to you. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. First item I have is I've got crime update listed. Last week we had a motor vehicle theft. Earlier in the week, about 4 in the morning. Some folks, young kids, what it looks like, stole a car outside of Enon, drove that stolen vehicle here, ditched it in the apartments, and then stole a vehicle over off of Matthews Drive. From working with the Grand Theft Auto unit and stuff in the region, there's several devices out there, but it's a real popular thing. I know I've touched on this a bunch, but yeah, I mean, there's some recommendations I have to auto owners. One, they make little air tags you can hide in your car pretty good. Maybe spend a few bucks and throw in one of those. Secondly, again, call if you see something that looks suspicious, but unfortunately this seems to be an epidemic all over the place. If you just look, it's a very popular thing. They make electronic devices that communicate with computer systems, and they're just starting your car remotely, or they're picking up the signal and using stolen vehicles to steal vehicles and covering their faces and stuff. Unfortunately, the vehicle owner finds their car destroyed and ditched. Law enforcement is very aware of it, but it's very hard to prevent because it's a battle. Again, back in the old days, we used to lock our cars and lock our windows, and we didn't have to worry about anything. But along with the theft, so I just want to encourage residents to continue to call the police, but also maybe since the manufacturers can't seem to get anything in place, maybe look into some air tags or something, and then once you find it stolen, obviously contact us right away, and then we always find them. Unfortunately, we find them after they've been ditched and left, typically down in the Dayton area. So, but we are aware of it. We apologize to everybody that's the new crime thing, but that's just what it is. So,
And we were talking about this on Thursday, and I asked you, and you said we didn't have anything, and I jinxed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say the mayor and I did discuss this the week, and it was actually the very next day, so it was Wednesday. Yeah, but no, it comes around here periodically. Obviously, we had the violent one last year. Luckily, nobody got hurt, but it is a thing. And again, there's no particular. That 14-year-old kids, I mean, they're going down as young as that. In fact, I've seen reports where there's 10-year-olds stealing cars. That to me is unheard of, but it is happening. So if you see, and they're not driving around creeping, they're pulling up, they're getting out, and you'll see a little. The electronic device in their hand, they're just using the codes that they get from online sources. In fact, a lot of the things that they're using are actually legally purchased items, but they're using them for bad purposes. And then they drive away and they do that. So again, our community has been fortunate enough not to have too many, but in the same token, in my opinion, we've had too many. So I won't beat that anymore. But
One's too many if it's yours.
yeah, that's right, and it affects all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, insurance premiums, car prices, the list goes on. But all we
And
can
it doesn't
do.
seem like it's just the vehicle, it's the stuff they get inside the vehicle as well, what people are leaving sometimes.
That's
is
correct.
what amazes me, that they're leaving in their cars.
Yeah, and I can't say enough. If you own a firearm, that needs to be locked up and secured inside your residence. It should not be left in your vehicle unless it's unless you've got it in some sort of very well locked safe that somebody can't just open. That's happening way too often. And again, remember, these are young people doing this. That's no excuse, but they make decisions that have consequences, and unfortunately the gun violence related to some of this stuff's out of control. But don't try to catch them. Call us. You can replace your property, but you can't replace yourself. So secondly, I have the July 4th parade. We signed off to permit a week or so ago. That's July 4th at 2 p.m. The lineup will be there at Greenon, and it will go to the Mad River Fire Department like it does every year, and I believe they'll have their celebration, little get-together like they always do. We had a leads audit I brought up last year. Had a few road bumps. They're getting a little bit more tedious, but I was able to finally complete that a week or so ago. I got the blessing, so I had sent out a policy that I had to write, and Councilman Babcock had commented on it that I needed the front glossary, but I was just trying to get it done. So I appreciate when he was on there. I'm working on that, but we did pass that. That's good. They did tell me that the federal government was putting more rules in place for 2025. So the Enon Police Department has always done really good on stuff like that, our MDTs and miscellaneous, but one thing, when we do go on the Spillman system with the Regional Dispatch Center, when that happens, hopefully sometime here sooner than later, that will alleviate a lot of that paperwork for us. Because right now, I mean, there's they're called tax, and then obviously I'm over all that. Bunch of hoops to jump through, but there is a lot of paperwork. So that took me several months and a lot of communication with the lead security office, but it's done. So a big relief off my thing. I've almost got our collaboration done. I was waiting on some of the Lexipol updates, and it's pretty much done, but I'll have that. I know the mayor mentioned that a while back. It was on my to-do list last year, but it's almost all but finalized, so I'll let council know that should be here shortly. We have National Night Out coming up August 6th. We're going to bring back a bounce house with the blessing of the insurance company, which shouldn't be an issue because I'll follow up with them. But
Good. They
assuming
never
that
like those, but they will cover us.
That's correct.
It's one of those things that they're not keen on, but the
They're-
kids love them.
yeah, they're not a fan, but that's okay because the kids love them. So
They do.
We did price out one of those. I also got some T-shirt prices, but and we do make some revenue back from that. So I'm going to ask if council, out of the 2902 special revenue fund, as of the latest one I have with me is from 4.5, and to my knowledge we haven't spent anything out of it, but it shows a $12,752.34 as of 4/5/24 from a cash summary. I'm asking that council approve $3,500, $3,500 for us to spend at National Night Out, with the understanding that some of those funds will be replenished by the T-shirt sales. But that will cover our bounce house, our games prizes, T-shirts, ice, and miscellaneous expenses. I believe that would cover. So if council would be okay with that, I ask for a motion to do that.
I would really like to see the support of that this year to try to build this back up to where it was. We have the opportunity now because we have a location that's going to be more suitable, I think, for the event. And I just really want to see us build this back up.
And I'll just clarify on some of the purchases, just to kind of, as I know that's a large number, but for example, our DJ was right around 150, and then T-shirts last year was almost 1,000, but this year obviously they're up in price. And again, we've got ice, and the bounce houses, we got an estimate there, it was like $548.25. So they are it's a large amount, but it covers, should cover everything.
And that's the whole purpose of that account, just kind of as a reminder. We really haven't spent much out of it, if anything, recently, so.
Yeah. So,
I'll make a motion that we okay the $3,500 for the National Night Out.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Least,
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet,
Yes.
Mr. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Mr. Avery.
Yes.
And and thank you for that. Just one other thing, if anyone is able to volunteer to help out, it would be greatly appreciated. I know Sue and I will be down there to help, I think, with the raffle part, but I know we could always use more bodies, so it would be greatly appreciated.
I have a question about the funds. Any
Yes.
funds left over, can we put that toward Shop with a Cop? And is that something that's okay with that account?
Yes, yes.
Whatever.
so yes, it was,
Okay,
so it was clearly communicated to me that, that special revenue fund, we could actually use that money for Shop with the Cop, but obviously we would like to use our donations and stuff. But
Good.
there was a little confusion a while back in the past on that, on the number of the funds in that, but there's definitely some money in there. And yeah, so to answer your question shortly, yes. Thank you very much, and that's all I have for this evening.
Thanks, Chief. Questions for our chief? Anybody? Okay, thank you. Let's go into committee reports, and Mrs. Sweet, I will turn this over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor and everybody else. Hi, everybody. We got together with Rick and Kevin and I and we didn't walk, but we looked through the park and everything, and we're going, well, where are we gonna put a building to put all this equipment that we're gonna need? And I don't know if we're gonna keep it at the park, or if we're gonna keep it where the other equipment is, which isn't big enough. So we decided that we needed a public service meeting to brainstorm about buildings, where to put them, what to get, what we need to house equipment, etc. So we just need to put that on our calendar to have a public service meeting. The public service committee is myself, Jeremy, and Ben, and anybody else that wants to come. Kevin probably would be a good idea if you were there. So, gentlemen, your calendars.
And Kevin, you probably ought to make that as well, please.
So, calendars. Jeremy, you seem to be the busiest, so.
I mean, like next Tuesday.
Before the meeting? Oh, next Tuesday the 2nd? Sounds good to me. The sooner the better.
Yeah, if you're wanting to do it
6 o'clock?
sooner.
Kevin,
Yeah,
is
is
that
that okay
time,
with you?
enough time for you to get it out to the public? Okay.
Yep.
Ben,
That works for
6
me.
p.m. you said?
6 PM. Okay.
And the topic again is to discuss
To
facilities.
brainstorm about facilities
Yep,
for
okay.
equipment coming. That's all for me, sir. Thank you.
Any other committee reports? Okay, we do have an executive session scheduled for this evening, so I will accept comments from the public. All right, I would entertain a motion and a second to enter into executive session to discuss the employment and compensation of village employees.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Ms. Least,
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet,
Yes.
Mr. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Mr. Avery.
Yes.
And I do expect council to take some action when we come back into regular session.
6:29.
Regular session.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Least,
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet,
Yes.
Mr. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Mr. Avery.
Yes.
6:57.
And I'd like to make a motion from the executive session that we would increase Jamie Epperly's salary from $18 an hour to $19 an hour.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Least,
Yes.
Ms. Sweet,
Yes.
Mr. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Mr. Avery.
Yes.
And
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned.
6:58.
Bob.